Let me introduce you to Boom Miles, a unique and likable guy. Everyday life, friends and family makes up the honest dream.
Here we are. We're back at it again. Another episode of the Artistry of Podcast. Now, it's I had a crazy few days, right? So, I'm usually off on Mondays. And, the truck broke down. So, the guy who usually drives on Mondays, so it's broke down. So then he had a late day, right? You get started, and the way that the schedule is, we got like a whole bunch of deadlines. You got to deliver this by this time. You got to deliver that by that time, right? It's real tight. And you just boom, boom, boom. You just on it. So I want to say that he probably didn't get really on his first stop till around 11 or 12. You're supposed to really get there at 9:15. The best scenario is like 9, maybe 4 to 10 minutes after. So he wasn't really hitting it till 11:12. So he was going to have a bad day. So they hit me up. I go in and, help him out. But what I was planning to do, I was planning on recording, which I probably changed the day. So right now it's released on Wednesday night, Thursday, right? Usually around midnight, Thursday morning. But I want to change that because, like, by the time I talk to you guys, my energy is like, yo, I'm just so tired. I've worked. I've been out since 7. Been up since like 6:30, and I don't get home till around 7:30, 8 o'clock. Eat something. As you guys can hear, I'm yawning. Eat something, and then I try to train in Tekken, and then I hit the cast, right? So now I'm going to have to train after the podcast. So that means that this is not going to be a long one, right? So that's why I want to move. I want to go ahead and move the cast to Monday. So that's how I'm going to do it. So this Monday, because I'm not going to go in and, and knock it out. Knock it out Monday. Do it early, so that way I'm not yawning. I got some energy. I'm feeling good. And bada bing, bada boom. Okay? So, but if I would have did it Monday, then I wouldn't get a chance to speak on the latest Black Lives Matter. Which you guys can hear just in my voice. Like, it's just crazy, right? And I'm not going to be speaking on this stuff, like, because it's going to happen. Another incident is going to happen maybe a month from now. And the crazy thing is you had some kid, I think they said he was like 17, and he went out on like a vigilante spree going around killing. I think he killed a few people, and then he wounded some people. So, like, yo, dude is crazy. Let's go ahead and pull that up and see what we can find. I mean, that's just crazy. And the real crazy thing is that here you have a kid who, let's go with, I really don't feel like doing any feedback. Sony opens pre-order registration for the PlayStation 5. Now, see, with that, I don't even know what I'm going to do with that. Right? Ooh, now, here, Apple about to release 7 iPads, 8 Apple Watch Series 6 models. That I am a little concerned. Like, I want to know about that. Just because I was thinking about getting a watch. Like, I was going to get me an Apple Watch recently, like today or a few days ago. So that's cool. So I definitely want to follow up on that. But let's check up on this vigilante and see what we can find out on this guy. All right. Let's see. We have to there. And I'm trying to think of what town. Right? Because this just happened, so it should already been vigilante justice. I just can't think. I think it was like, man, was it Wisconsin? All right. I want to say that's where. Let's see if that'll at least get us close. All right. All right, here we go. 17-year-old arrested after 2 killed during an unrest. So they are hunting for a possible vigilante. But see, just that, like, vigilante, like, why would they even call him a vigilante? Like, a vigilante is someone who takes the law into their own hands. That's what I always thought it meant. Right? So if that's the case, then why are they calling him a vigilante then? So he shot a black man. All right, so let's see. So a white 17-year-old police admirer has been arrested after killing 2 people during the third night of protest. So, come on, dog. You just can't call it like he's not a vigilante. All right, 2 people were killed in a night attack carried out by the young white man who was caught on a cell phone opening fire in the middle of the streets. Now, see, like, come on, man, ain't nobody had no weapons. Like, nobody had no weapons. Like, yo, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, come on, man. Y'all gotta be ready for this type of work. Like, you just do. You just do. You going out there and you protesting. Like, you gotta be ready for this type of stuff to pop off. Right? So they got shot to death. Another was wounded. I saw they had him down, but they couldn't get control of the gun. And it's like, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 had him down. But I get it. It's tough. You know, he's firing, and it's tough to get control. But like that's the type of stuff you just gotta be ready for. You just can't wait for stuff like that to happen. You just can't. He'll be arrested soon. Like, come on. You admire the police. Like, yo, you want to be a cop? Well, now you're not. And the biggest thing about this story is like, yo, you 17. Like, come on, yo, you don't even understand life. You don't understand nothing, and now your life is pretty much over. Like, what you gonna do? Are you gonna join the white supremacists in your local jail? And then what? You get out. You figure, all right, you went on like this is like a hate. This is gonna be a hate crime because you went out shooting black people. Right? You murdered 2. You tried to murder 3. Like, yo, you would have murdered as many as possible. So you're not getting out. You're not getting out. Man. That's just crazy. And that's just crazy. So I wouldn't have been able to talk about that, right? I really don't want to spend too much time on that. Just because, like, yo, this type of shit happens every day. I woke up around 10 o'clock in the morning. I gave myself a stretcher, a moaning, yawning. Right? Like, yo, this stuff happens and it's going to happen again. Right? But what this is in, like, the whole protest is in reaction to the guy, it was a black guy who got shot 7 times in his back. Which it's all about how you frame. Like, so the video that I saw, the guy was walking from the passenger side and he was walking around to the driver's side, right? So this is the victim. So we got a black guy. He's walking from the passenger side. So we don't know what happened before then. What we see is maybe about, just from my memory, I want to say it was like at least 5 cops, right? So 4 to 5 cops. It could be more. I don't think it was 3. I don't think it was less. So it had to have been, like I said, 4 to 5, possibly more cops. They're all on the passenger side. He's on the passenger side, and he's walking to the driver's side. One officer, the lead officer, he has his gun drawn. Right? So we don't even know why he has his gun drawn. Right? And you guys remember just what I was talking about. Like, these clips, all of this stuff is given to us in a certain way for a reason. Like, they're not just doing, oh, this is all we got. Like, nah, they edited the footage, right, to show us at this point so that they could get a certain reaction, so that they can get a certain reaction from us. Like, that's why we come in at this video at this moment, right? I don't know why this cop had his gun drawn, but I know that if this guy is going to his car, right? Like, yo, come on, dog. Like, look, if I'm the police, if I'm the cop, like I said, we don't know why his gun was drawn. So if I'm the cop and I have my gun drawn and you are going to your car and look, I don't know if you're about to turn around and open fire. Like, I don't know if you're about to just get in and just drive off. This is about to be a high-speed chase. You could get in and try to mow us down, right? So I don't know what's going on. So from the guy's standpoint, the victim who got shot, like, yo, man, you put things in a terrible situation. And I get it, man. A lot of you soft guys out there be like, I mean, but he should have the right to just be able to get in the car and drive. Like, yo, man, get the fuck out of here, man. Are y'all serious, man? Are y'all serious? I mean, I know this is what y'all going to be saying. I just know it. Man, he should have the right to walk away and to resist arrest. And like, like, man, now look, I understand. I understand that, look, that guy shouldn't have opened up 7 shots to the guy's back, right? They should have just took him down. Like, come on, if it's 5 of y'all, take him down, right? Like, he shouldn't even have made it to the driver's side. But then what? Then people going to be talking about police brutality, right? So look, they're trying to walk him. They're trying to talk him down or whatever. But look, man, yo, you getting in that car, like we don't know, like yo, you're in a deadly weapon. Like yo, people have been ran over by people who get in cars. Yo, they get in cars, they start trying to run you down, right? So, look, I can't wait. I can't wait for you and see what you're gonna do. And then what? We open up fire once you in there. You trying to mow us down, or what? You get in the car and you just start driving. Yo, man, y'all should chase him. Like, so no matter what, it was going to be a bad situation. But he wouldn't have got shot 7 times if y'all would have just rushed him, right? Took him down. And if it's 5 of y'all, look, each person on a limb. Look, you get the left arm, I'm going to get the right arm. You get the left leg. Tony going to get the right leg. Boom. We're going to take him down, hold him down, put the cuffs on him, right? Charge him with a resisting arrest. I mean, like, yo, you didn't have to shoot him. But at the same time, like, yo, man, once you get in that car, like, yo, it's just a bad situation. So the cops just shouldn't have let him even get to his car. They look, take him down. Just don't put your knee on his neck. Like, yo, y'all don't have to, like, physically kill him. Like, don't beat him down. Just take him down, restrain him, and book him or whatever the next step would have been, right? Then we would have been complaining about that. But that's the thing. Like, yo, this is crazy. Like I said, I don't know why he even took why the one officer had his gun drawn. Like, that's just like when a person pull a gun out on you, they're pulling it out with the intention to kill you. Now, let's say they don't have no bullets, right? Because I've seen that. I've experienced people pull a gun out on you, but they don't have no bullets. So they want to scare you, right? But, like, yo, man, that's bad because of the things that can happen to you once you pull that gun out. Like, yo, man, you having a bad day. Like, yo, if you don't have no bullets, you pull that gun out, like, well, now this thing that escalated, right? It's time for the percolator. It's time for the percolator. It's time for the percolate. Like, look, man, it's like, yo, that's bad. That's just bad. And that's why, like I really avoid guns. I really do. And like sometimes you just can't avoid it, right? You run up on some crazy dude, like, yo, you driving some guy, get some road rage. You know how you guys be. Y'all be on y'all road rage game. Boom. But the person you doing your road rage with, he got a gun. Like, yo, that's the only reason why these people even participating in road rage. It's because they got a gun. Like, yo, you telling me you just that confident in your hands and that knuckle game? Like, nah, man. 9 times out of 10, a person is doing road rage with you, he got a gun. Now, let's say it's a female. She's just crazy. And that's not saying that all women are crazy. But if a woman is doing road rage, like, and I've seen that, like, yo, they just crazy. Like, yo, y'all live in this Mr. Rogers neighborhood type of world where you going to just do some road rage and then y'all just going to go about your own way. Like, yo, some real killers out there. So that's crazy. I really didn't, like I said, like, yo, if this would have been done on Monday, right? If I didn't have to worry, if this was done on Monday, I wouldn't even be talking about this. I would be talking about something else. What I'm going to talk about. But I wanted to get that out there just because, I mean, this is like the latest thing. But like I said, this stuff is going to happen again. This stuff is going to happen again. So, like, I'm just not going to be talking about every incident. Look, this is what should have happened. These shoulda, coulda, wouldas, I kept up so long. Like, nah. Or from, because I did an episode where I did my song, we're just cops and robbers. Oh, man. We're just cops. I'm gonna have to listen to it again because I haven't played it in so long. I remember like do we played the game. No one wanna walk away. So I wrote the song "Cops and Robbers." I'm gonna have to listen to it so I can get the melody. Matter of fact, I might have to pull it up so that I can play it in the beginning, right? Play it in the beginning of this. Put the song in the beginning of this. But it's this kind of triggered the whole MK Ultra, right? And this is this type of stuff that's going on, like even with the Black Lives Matter and just all the protests, right? Like some people believe that this is actually Russian warfare. And let's see, MK Ultra. I want to say it's Ultra. I didn't know they had it might be, I think it's called MK Ultra, right? And I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah. So it's MK Ultra, and it's CIA. It was a CIA mind control program, and so, like I said, some people believe that all of this stuff, all of these protests, and just the bickering and the fighting amongst each other, this is Russian warfare. All right, this is what some people believe, because the whole idea is, look, you destroy it from the inside. It's like a lightning attack. Lightning cooks you from the inside, cooks your insides. And some people believe that that's what's going on, right? Now, MK Ultra, like I said, was a CIA mind control program. And some people, they believe that Charles Manson was a part of it, and that this program also had something to do with President Kennedy's assassination and Martin Luther King's assassination, because the guys who were convicted of killing JFK and the guy who was convicted of killing Martin Luther King Jr., there's evidence out that points to someone else, that points to multiple, and it points to a conspiracy theory type of thing. And I love conspiracy theories just like the next person. Like, I really do. I really do. But most of the time I don't believe, like some conspiracy theories I don't believe, right? Some of them I don't believe. But with the CIA doing mind control, I believe it because all right, so if this is a Russian attack, right? This is mind control and mind manipulation and party manipulation. We don't even know that it's going on. We don't even understand what's going on. This is the best way. This is the best way to fight a war, where it's just decaying from the inside. And you're setting up these rallies. You'll have one group on this side and the other group right across the street, and then they just so happen to see each other, and now they bickering and fighting, and they have this hatred amongst each other. And ultimately what happens is they ultimately start looking to, okay, who can we blame, right? And the politicians and just the government is going to get the blame, and then you have this this takeover, right? Which, like the type of stuff that we're seeing in Seattle, right? So to touch on the MK Ultra, because like I said, this wasn't where the episode was going to go, but just seeing all of this stuff, like, you got to ask yourself, why is the sky blue? Why is water wet? Why did Judas grab the Romans while Jesus slept. Okay, we had we had to dip into our Wu-Tang bag, right? Purge through, find the Jesus album, go to Ghostface's verse. Camouflage, chameleon, ninja scale in your building, okay? Like, look, we had to go in there for this episode because this is going to happen again. And why? Are we even in control? Right? Are we even in control? When you go and you buy a bag of Doritos or you try that new Shaq's pepperoni baroni, like, are you trying it because this is just what you want, or are you trying it for some other reason? When you're getting that Kit Kat and you're mixing it with coffee, is this your idea? This is what you've thought? Yo, I need to mix this Kit Kat with the mocha latte, right? Is this your idea? Or is it coming from somewhere else? These are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. And that's why I bring up the MK Ultra. Right? Because Charles Manson, right? We're going to take it at Charles Manson. It actually, like I said, it goes back. This thing goes back. And even alien sightings. Like, it was even reported that I want to say that I don't know if it was the Nazis. It could have been. It could have been the Nazis. The Nazis, right? So they were cooking up propaganda, but this sounds more like American because Americans in Hollywood, like we've always had to jump on movie, right? Just we've been at the frontier for movies. We've been at the frontier, and I also want to speak on some of the incorrect statements from last week that I made. So I'm gonna get to that as well, and I don't have that much time because, like I said, I still have to practice in my Tekken, right? So hopefully we can cover all of these things, but if not, then we'll just pick it back up, right? We'll just pick it back up next week, so it's no thing. So, MK Ultra, CIA mind control. Now, Charles Manson, that's where we're going to take it from, right? Started Charles Manson. Charles Manson was arrested before the murders. He was arrested and he got into trouble. But leading up, like maybe a year to 6 months before the actual murders of which we all know him for, right? The brutal murders. Like leading up to that, he got in trouble several times. He got arrested, but he got out, right? He was moved from, like, they sent him to Mexico. He did something crazy down there. Like a lot of the files were sealed, and he was supposed to, look, you can't come back to Mexico, right? They send him back to Mexico, and he doesn't get arrested. Like, his parole officer knew that he was in Mexico and didn't do anything, right? So this is all the arrests and all of these things that he was getting in trouble for, but he never did any time. But like that suggests that he was a rat. Right? Usually, like in today's standard, when a person goes to jail, like, yo, I know a guy, he went to jail, but then he was out maybe like within a month. It's like, yo, this dude is singing. If you think you're lonely now, ooh yeah, wait until tonight. Like, yeah, like, yo. This guy is singing, right? Like, come on. I felt like I had to sneeze, but I was able to hold it down. If you can't stand pain, better hold them. So, that's what we could assume that. We could assume that with Manson. Yo, you singing? Like, yo, why are you getting all these passes? They just don't give out passes like that. They just don't give out passes. We know that the CIA had people infiltrate the Black Panthers, right? We know this. But when we talk about Manson, that project was unique in the sense that they wanted a lot of the mind controlling techniques he used on his subjects, those girls that he was using. So they were using like LSDs, they was using drugs, and he would pretend like he used them himself, but he didn't, and he just had them use it. And this is how they was getting the guys. They would lure them in with girls, and this was a CIA technique that they used prostitutes, and they used LSD on unsuspecting Johns, and they just studied them, just watched them. Yo, drug these guys, and let's see if they tell. Like, yo, are they telling secrets? Are they telling, like, yo, what are they telling these girls? Right? So he used those same techniques, right? We're talking about the 60s. Right? I want to say that happened in the 60s. I don't believe it happened in the 70s, but in this internet age, we need to pull that up, just because yeah, there we go. Let's pull it up. Let's see. Yeah, the late 60s. So, with him, people believe that the CIA had used him as an experiment. So he doesn't even know, because he would have ratted him out by now. Right? So he died in 2017. The murders happened in the late 60s. Right? So he would have ratted him out. But he truly believed that we was going to have this race war. Right? They commit these murders, and then they blame it on the Black Panthers. And then the U.S. government would be outraged. The police would be outraged. They would go after the Black Panthers, and the black people would rally and join the Black Panthers, and it would be this all-out race war. And the blacks would win the race war. This is what he believed. The blacks would win the race war and take over the world, take over America. They would be in a bunker. They would be underground. And when they arose, they would be able to conquer the black man, the black people, and they would run the world. They would run the world. So that they were using black people as a weapon to destroy the government, right? He believed this. Like, he truly believed it. It's not the CIA said, look, act like you this and act like you that. Like, no. So that's where we go back to, and this is just like the Mandarin, the Manchurian, yeah, I think it's, you pronounce it the Mandarin Candidate. I think it's the Manchurian Candidate. Man, I can't even think of the actual word. I know it's like, I know it's not Mandarin, because that's a dialect. The Manchurian, I think it's that, the Manchurian Candidate or something like that. I'm sure Google will correct it for me. Yeah, the Manchurian. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, the Manchurian. Let's just pick up just this word by itself. Oh, so that's Chinese Indian. So I mean, it's along the line of Asia, right? So that's why I guess it was like running all in all together. But the whole idea of that, we're still talking about the same thing, where you use these brainwashing techniques to brainwash a subject to where they truly believe in the act that they're doing. And what happens is then they come to. So it's like your brain has been compartmentalized. You have this one side, you have this part in your brain, this new story, this storyline is somewhere in your brain, and it lives at the same time as your current reality. So in this compartmentalization, or this compartment in your mind, you believe, let's say, something like that, like Street Fighter 5 was created by the devil, right? You believe that, even though you know in reality that it was created just as a game, a sequel to the Street Fighter franchise, and they're just trying to make money. Even though, so you believe that, but there's a part of your mind where this storyline has been cooked up that the devil actually created Street Fighter 5, and that none of the other Street Fighters, that there are no Street Fighter 1, 2, 3, and 4 Ultras and Champion Editions and Turbos. That Street Fighter 5 just came out on its own, created by the devil as a ploy to make you believe that the other sequels or the other prequels existed, but they didn't, right? And this is his way of controlling you. It sounds real crazy, but they were successful. They were successful in creating this and doing this, right? So where you could carry out a hit, be a sleeper cell, and then after the job was done, forget any type of recollection of what was going on, right? You could forget any of that. And then boom, you don't know what's going on, and you like, look, I don't know, kind of like some old Jason Bourne type stuff. Remember, I think it was 3. I'm not sure if he loses his memory in all of them, but I want to say in 3, he definitely lost his memory. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know, and then he could speak German, or, I don't think it was the first one, but it could have been the first one. So it could have been the first one, but that's the type of story that runs on this, right? So that's the idea, and this was before Manson, right? And I feel like Manson was the evolution of it, to where, like, boom, you really believe this stuff, but you're using techniques to manipulate people. You've learned these techniques, right? He's using the same techniques that the CIA is using, right? Even when we talk about the Kiki thing, like the guy who's doing the main torture guy, he recorded all of this. Like, the guy recorded all of this stuff. Let me get a drink. I guess I could just pause it, right? The next drink, I'll just pause this way. You guys don't have to just listen. Like, gulp, gulp, gulp. But that guy who tortured Kiki, when we were exploring the first Mexican cartel, right? The birth of the cartels. He was the CIA. So, I mean, you have these techniques, and like I said, Manson was an evolution of the Manchurian candidate, right? That was the first where you would commit a crime and then you would wake up and have no memory, have no recollection. But Manson, he's actually the evolution to where he commits the crime and he doesn't wake up. He never wakes up. Right? If you really just think about it, because when we say JFK and we say Martin Luther King, when we talk about them, you're framing and there's ambiguity in the case. Look, this was a 2-man hit. You have this guy who pleads guilty, and then later on he says, yo, I didn't do it. And then he dies, right? His attorney dies. Like, yo, it's just suspect. Like, everybody who's involved died, like, in a short amount of time. And this was before the internet. Like, that type of stuff now is gonna send red flags. And they knew that. They knew just from those hits, those early hits, they knew that, yo, man, we have to adjust, right? We have to adjust. We have to modify our techniques because, all right, if we're doing this stuff, it is 2-man teams. Even one of the Manchurian candidates, he raped a girl, and then afterwards, I want to say maybe he raped her and he was trying to kill her, but he like came to and before he killed her, so he stopped, and he didn't have a clue of what was going on. I don't know, right? So in that instance, you never know, you never really can know. I think we would have to go back into the to the torture days of antiquity. Right? We would have to go into those days to really just carve out the truth. So, we don't do those type of things anymore. So you just never know. You never know what a person truly knows and what a person is aware of. But if we say that, okay, we acknowledge that the guy who killed Martin Luther King, that it was more than just one shooter, and that the gun and just the evidence, when you really examine the evidence, it doesn't match, right? The bullet and the spin doesn't match the gun. It wasn't shot from that gun. And for the bullet to go out and come back in, and it's like, yo, come on. So which the Kennedy is like the magic bullet theory, which that never happened ever again. So this is just a one-time thing, right? So those type of things is like, okay, all right. It was more than just one person, right? It was more than one person. So you don't want that, right? I mean, if we're a government that's dealing in espionage, and mainly you're practicing on your own people so that you can affect an outcome in different governments. That's ultimately what you want, right? And that's where Manson comes in, because Manson, boom, he did the murders, right? He didn't commit them himself, but he manipulated people into doing these murders, right? And they believed what he was saying. He believed what he was saying. Does he feel like he was manipulated? Like, I'm sure if he felt like he was manipulated, he would have said it, right? But he held on. He held on to his crazy stories. He held on to it. And he wanted to be a celebrity, right? These type of people, they're susceptible to this type of stuff. Like that kid, the 17-year-old who admires the cops, right? So he's going to gun down some black people. Like, look, I'm sure he wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to view the world. Dude. That was the jam, right? Like, yo, that's just how it is. Especially in this day and age, in this culture, right? Now, boom, now it's about manipulation. Now, was he manipulated? No. Or, who knows? But these ideas and these techniques are out there, and they've improved. So you figure, like, yo, you look at Manson, like, they've improved on that. So they improved on the Manchurian, and then they improved on Manson to what we're seeing now. Right? Now, with Manson, and usually that type of stuff, you need one-on-one therapy and you need one-on-one interaction. So I'm sure that they have changed their tactics and changed their strats to account for how things are going. And you say, well, if you look at the Nicaraguan gun and the war and the trade and buried seals and all of that. If you look at all of that, like, that wasn't clean, right? So how are we gonna make where the military is clean on this one side, or the government is clean over here, but over here they're not, right? And I think the best way to really kind of see it is that, just like with anything back in the day, it wasn't the different departments and the different parts of the system wasn't connected. They didn't talk and they didn't speak to each other. And that's still what you have. It's still a thing of secrecy, right? It's still a thing of secrecy. That's what you got. You got secrecy no matter what, right? The fifth floor doesn't talk to the sixth floor and doesn't talk to the fourth floor, right? It's the fifth floor, even though communication amongst all of them would improve communication between the whole building, right? But the problem is, if you're keeping things secret and let's say you're using leverage, you really don't know. We have an idea, we have a sense of some people, okay, who's going to rat and who's not, because that's really going to be your biggest thing. Are they going to rat us out? We really have to keep an eye on the rats. We have to keep an eye on the rats, because a lot of people, they're not built for this. They don't have the fortitude. They don't have the cojones to keep moving forward. So once we understand that, and we say, okay, all right, then we're at a point where we're like, well, all right. This person is not ready for, you can't handle the truth. Right? So with the whole Black Lives, right? With the 7 shots to the back, the people aren't ready to find out that this guy had a gun. The people, or let's say why this guy pulled out his gun, right? People aren't ready for that. So we're not going to tell them that. We're just going to go ahead and bring it right in where he has the gun out, and they're all following. They're following him to the driver's side. Right? They're following him to the driver's side. So, boom, now you got secrecy. Look, these people, they don't know. So this is a reoccurring theme in the past, and what's happening now is people are wanting to know. People are craving knowledge, wanting to know how things work, wanting to know every piece of the system. And it just wasn't built on that. Like when you're talking about espionage, like people don't have a clue of what's really going on. They don't have a clue. Like they don't. And it goes back to what I said. I mean, are you really in control? of your decisions, of your desires, of your actions. And I really wasn't even trying to go here today, but just this latest thing was like, yo, man, what is going on behind the scenes? What's really going on? And you got to know that there is something really going on. And I remember I used to be a grant manager. And you can always follow the money. You can always follow the money. Like if I ever got accused for anything, like, look, I want y'all to do a full, I want the FBI, I want the IRS, right? Because the IRS, look, it's the numbers. The numbers don't lie. We will be able to find where the money is coming and going. We can find it, right? So that's what I would ask for, a full audit. I would demand a full audit. An audit would clear my name. An audit would tell the truth of every dime of mine can be accounted for. Every dime. Every dime can be accounted for. Right? So the money, we can still follow the money. We can still follow the money and see what is truly going on, but we will have to know where to look. Right? That's the main thing. All right, where are we looking? We're talking about following the money. Where are we looking? But if we knew where to look, like the money would tell us the story. It would tell us what is going on and why. Because they're not just doing stuff for no reason. It's all money. Right? It's all money. So, what I wanted to speak on about last week, because what I said about the slave trade, it would have been accurate if America was the first to do slavery, but America wasn't. Right? America wasn't. It was the British. They were the ones who really made the slave trade, and you know, they were the ones who set it up. So with that in mind, what you're gonna have now that you didn't have in my story is you're gonna have the British running the slave trade. Like, that's what you're going to have. Now, with the British running the slave trade, and the British, so then we have America as just a colony of the British, right? And look, America, they're not going to like the British. They're not going to like the taxes. They're not going to like not having representation, right? So they're not going to like that. And then they're sending slaves over to do work, and we're talking about the South, right? And they had slaves in the North as well. And they just didn't have, it wasn't a big business, but the wealthy still had slaves doing odd jobs, doing housework, right? It just wasn't as big business in the North, but they still had slaves, right? It just stopped in the North before it stopped in the South, right? But it wasn't big business it wasn't farming. You didn't have like slave farms in the North. But when you have slaves that's coming from, you know, and when I say coming from the British, meaning that the British are the ones supplying, right? They have the whole route, and they have the ports, and I think one of biggest ports was in one of the islands. I can't think if it was like Puerto Rico or whatever island, but they had, it was running all over, and you can see the trace of it in the people. You look at South America, Brazil was big business. Jamaica, what's the place that they say I know black? It's not Puerto Rican, but I can't think of the name of them. I know black. Them, right? Look, man, you are black, man. So it was big business, but you had that resentment, and that's what I didn't have in my utopian. Even though it's just no way around it. It's just never going to be utopian, right? But I still stand by slavery in its essence. When we go back 6,000, 10,000 years ago, slavery was mercy, because if it wasn't that, then it was just death, right? Which we spoke about in our hypothetical encounter, right? If all of these people, if they don't really serve a means for my idea, right? If they don't serve my idea, well, then let's just go ahead and kill them all, right? So that's what you got a lot. And even they didn't say this in the book, but Africans came to this country before Europeans. They came to this country before Europeans. But what I believe, and people, they really didn't speak on this, but I believe that they were murdered. I believe that they were killed. I believe that they were killed when they came here. Right? The natives, like, yo, man, they was some wild boys. Like, they was definitely some vicious guys. But it's all about just what you believe, and just for your reality, right? If you only know war, then that's what you expect. And we're definitely led to believe that they were vicious and brutal, but hey, they lost out to the germs, right? Germs eradicated, and it's just so hard to even imagine that germs could kill so many people, right? That it could kill so many. But if they didn't have any immunity, and they didn't have time to even build it, and you getting these big boy viruses now, right? White people coming over after they survived the bubonic plague, right? They survived the plague. So they're coming over with this type of these type of diseases, and it just ravaged the native population. It just decimated them. So it's really crazy to imagine, right? It's like, man, that's just crazy. But yeah, that's what I didn't speak on. I didn't speak on it in my hypothetical utopian slavery plantation, right? I didn't account for big business. What I was speaking on was a mom and pop shop, because big business, you don't know. So if the slaves are coming from the British, right? They're coming from England. Well, these slaves really don't even know their master. So they have this secondhand master. And what we know about any job is people, most of the time, people don't like their job. Like, people don't like their job. People hate their job. No matter what it is, no matter what the job is, people hate their job. That's just most of the time. That's what you're going to get most of the time, people hating their job. So, and people feeling like the people at the top are the ones that's making all of the money, that's really getting rich. So, with that in mind, you're going to be building animosity towards the slaves. And so all of the brutality and the violence and just the rapes and all of that, like all of that is going to happen, right? Why? Because you don't have someone protecting these slaves. I really don't care, right? That's what you're going to have. You're not going to have someone who cares. Like, all right, I'm not going to let you come in my house and take my TV. But if I have, 50 TVs on the West Coast, right? I have 50 TVs on the West Coast. I have a shipment headed to Brazil. I really don't care. Look, if each shipment keeps getting picked off every time, well, then now it's going to be a problem. But how many shipments, how many TVs are in there, right? So that's the thing. So you're not going to have a sense of, I'm not going to let you do these things. So by the time individuals start to make and build wealth, right? Like they are maybe 2 to 3 generations deep. So yeah. So with that being said, then the model that I talked about, like it's going to be incorrect because the British, they were the main ones who started and established the slave trade. And they're so far away from the problem, and they don't care. Look, man, just show me the money. I really don't care what y'all do. And you have these people who have resentment, and just so it's just bad, and it's just gonna be horrible, and it's gonna be the horrors that we know happened. So I wanted to say that because I listened back to it, and I had to be critical of it. I had to be critical, and then I had to admit it as well, right? Because what I was thinking was small time, and you can't think small time because slavery wasn't small time; it was big time, right? It was big time. Even in the very beginning, that's happening. But you're going to have somebody who has money from something else, which we have the aristocratic family, the royal family. They're going to be the ones who gain great wealth off of slavery, right? The queens and the kings of England and Princess, what's the queen's name? Elizabeth. I don't know if she was. There was a few Elizabeth, so I'm sure Queen Elizabeth was alive during that time, right? There was some Queen Elizabeth, right, during the 1400s, right? We got 1492. Columbus sailed the ocean blue, okay? So before then, right? They getting it in. 1500s, like, look, it's go time, especially once you know that all of this stuff is open. So we got the 1500s, 1600s, man. Look, all right, Spanish, they can't really compete. Like, all right, they established, but we know what language the majority of this country speaks, and it's for a reason, because those were the ones, that's the language that won, right? Because that's the language that had the military backing, and then just the dominance in the alliances. Whereas in Canada, boom, you have the French. So yeah, I definitely wanted to speak on that. And you just never know what's going to happen between now and the next the next episode. So we'll just kind of keep our ears to the streets. I'm not going to worry about people answering and calling and just interacting. Like, that just takes time. right? It takes time. You never know what people want to speak on. So you just can't rush it. You just can't. You just can't rush it. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. You got to just look. What if nobody's listening? What if no one makes it to the end to even hear what you just said? Then what? It's like, yo, all right, boom, next, right? You just keep going. You keep living life, and you get these ideas out for you. You do this for you. And if no one listens, then hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right? So that's how you got to approach this. Now, do I believe that I have a formula? Do I understand the people who are successful at podcasting? Like the ones that you see. Now, there are some people that are successful that you don't see. Right? But the ones that I see, like I have an idea of why they're in the position that they're in. And I know what I would need to get into that position. Right. But then but the people that I listen to are all comedians. I'm not a comedian. Like, I think I'm funny. Only, like, I don't think I'm funny on here. I may say a few things here and there to make you laugh, but I don't think I'm funny like that. But I do acknowledge that I am funny, but I'm not a comedian. Like, I've never gotten on stage and told jokes, and I don't know how jokes are put together. So I would have to listen. I would have to find someone like me and listen to them. So I would have to find the most successful person like me and kind of look at their story. But like I said, I listen to comedians. So, I have an idea of why they are where they are. Right. But that doesn't help me with me. But I think that helps me with just being myself, because if I listen to somebody who was close to me, then I would say, oh man, well, they're not doing this and they're not talking about this and la, la, la. Right. So I would have hesitation. I would stop myself. But because I don't listen to anybody that's like me, then I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's right. I just, boom, look, this is what I feel. This is how I'm choosing to do it. So look, this is how it is. So that's the good thing about it. So now we're going to stop it there so that I can get a little bit of time practicing Tekken. And I wanted to talk about, I probably saved this for next week, but talk about either sex, as you can see, I'm tired. Sex or just relationships. So we'll see. And I definitely had some ideas on how I could approach it. So we'll see. We'll definitely see how that goes. But that's it. That's the episode. If you would like to, if you type in the Artistry of Podcast, or if you type in Bo Miles, the Artistry of Podcast, on YouTube, you'll find this episode on YouTube. And you can leave a comment there, and I'll read the comment. If you guys want to give me a review, if you would like to review the podcast, please review it wherever you listen to your podcast. Wherever you're listening to this, you can review it there. And I do have a number that hasn't changed, but look, as I get more interaction, but you can't force growth. Growth happens, and it's growing, right? We are growing, but just like anything, you can't see it. You can't see it. You can only look back and say, "Oh, all right, I remember when I didn't have one person. Now I have 7." Right? So you can only see it when you pass. As you pass the experience, do you understand the experience? Okay, that was that experience. So yeah, that's that. Definitely, I'm cooking up a book. trying to get some of this ink work. So definitely have a few things going on in the pipe works, but in the pipeline. So you guys have a good one. Have a good week. Be safe, as safe as you can be. And Reese's Pieces.